Another day, another fight. It always feels like an uphill climb. Another step, another mile. The story of your life. This is only a mountain. You don't have to find your way around it. Tell it to move, it'll move. Tell it to fall, it'll fall. It's only a mountain.
Hi everyone, it's Ray Gaucher back with you once again. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If this is the very first time you're visiting, I share my experiences on the road as a trucker driving Western Canada, the highways of Western Canada, and I like to share with the Lord Yeshua what our wonderful God is doing in my life every single day. And if this is, if you've been here before, welcome back. It's nice to have you back again. This particular video is not a road trip. I decided to do part 2. That's not part 4. Part 2 of the pros and cons of trucking now that I've had at least a little bit more experience. The very first video I made, it was my experience of the pros and cons of trucking within the first 6 months of me driving, the first 6 months of my career. Now that I've had at least 3.5 years of highway driving, city driving, and then back to highway, I think I'm probably a little bit more qualified to make a part 2. So that's what I wanted to do on this particular video. This time I also made some notes, and I also welcome your comments as well, providing they're respectable. On my last video, I get a lot of people that post some really nasty comments, and I don't know what they get out of that, but I'm not going to post them if you're going to post, if you're going to leave comments like that. So I just wanted to let you know that. So I'm going to start with the cons first, because I kind of like to end things on a positive note. It looks like I'm in the dark. I don't even know what time it is right now. It's 10:29. I'm still in Salmon Arm. They're doing a CVI on my truck right now. I'm in the shop, and they allowed me to sit back here and do some paperwork and work on some stuff, so that's kind of nice. So I thought I would use my time and provide you the pros and cons of trucking part 2. Now, the very first thing I can think of as for a con, for those of you that are getting into this industry, those of you that are going for your Class 1 or your CDL in the USA or wherever you are in the world, the very first thing that comes to mind that you have to think about, especially if you have a family, that you're going to spend several days away from home. And it can get very lonely at times, unless you have a very special girl in your life who wants to go with you. And I can't think of anything more positive than that, than spending time with the one you love on the open road, providing you don't have any children, or maybe they're already grown up. So that is the one con, that you will spend several days from home. Sometimes a week, depends if you're doing open road, if you're doing open board. If you're doing open board, it can be up to 2 weeks. Another con is breakdowns. Now, a lot of these brand new trucks, they're all ran by computers. There is constant glitches. There is constant issues with them, especially in weather conditions, bad and good weather conditions, whether it's snowing, whether it's raining. You're going to end up with breakdowns because the computers are going to go crazy and haywire. So unless you've got an older truck that doesn't have a whole bunch of computers in it that you know inside and out, you're going to be dealing with breakdowns, and that's just the name of the game in this industry. Another con is bad drivers with little or no experience on the highway. Now, when I first started driving, I was very cautious on a lot of the highways that I drove, especially number 1, because I didn't know the highway, I didn't know the corners very well, and when the weather conditions were bad, I had a tendency of going really slow around some corners, and I got a lot of flack from it. A lot of people got on my case about it. But you know what, as the weeks went by, I got to know the roads a little bit better, and of course I was able to maintain the speed as everyone else because I knew the road. Now, what I mean by bad drivers with little or no experience, there's a lot of drivers out there, and I'm not going to name any particular, that spend maybe a week learning their Class 1 license, and then they're given a set of keys. And this happens a lot out there. I've heard a lot of people talk about this, and there's a lot of companies out there that will bring people aboard, teach them, get them their Class 1. They spend about a week learning that truck. Look at this. My lights just went out again. The battery power on this thing here, I don't know why it's doing that, but anyway, this might happen a few times, so bear with me. Anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, so people spend a lot less time getting their Class 1 license, maybe a week, and that's not enough experience. It's not enough experience. And then they throw them a set of keys. They might throw them with another driver for about a week, and that's it. And that's not enough experience. They got to learn how to back that trailer up. They got to know. They got to learn how to put chains on. There's lots of stuff to learn. And unfortunately, because of the lack of training, a lot of the drivers out on the highway, they're dangerous. Another con is campers, tourists in the summertime, snowmobilers in the wintertime, and very, very rough road conditions. More or less, delays. And if you don't have a whole lot of patience, maybe this job isn't for you. Or if you're trying to learn patience, then maybe this job is for you. So that's another con. Just lots of delays in road construction in the summertime, and road closures in the wintertime from avalanche control and bad accidents. So the main thing is you have to expect that. It's never smooth sailing to wherever you want to go, believe me. Another con, you don't have much of a social life. You don't. You get to talk to the other drivers on the road, but not everyone is sociable, not everyone is chatty. And unless you have a Bluetooth, I got a Bluetooth for my phone, and I get to keep in contact with my family members and certain friends, I call them. But you know what? You just don't feel like sitting on the phone all the time. So you do spend a lot of time out there by yourself, just talking to yourself. And in my case, I spend a lot of that time with the Lord. That's the positive thing about being a Christian trucker. It's not as lonely out here as it is for the average trucker who doesn't know the Lord, because I get to spend my time with Him, and that's a huge plus. So your social life is very limited when you do this kind of work, unless you're communicating with a lot of other trucker friends. That's different, but yeah, the social life is very, very minimal. And like I said, unless you're a Christian, that's a very positive thing, because you get to spend that time with the Lord. And that is a very, very positive thing for me. I like to read my Bible and listen to my audio sermons and listen to my music and my praise music. And of course, my YouTube channels. You guys are a huge, huge support for me. You have no idea. When I make these videos, it's not just to provide you with a perspective of what's going on out here with me, but you also keep me company, and I like that, especially with the comments that you leave. Another con, if you're driving these big trucks and you have to haul around these 53-foot trailers, you have to deal with tight loading docks and restricted roads, and not every GPS is going to send you down the right road, unless you get a trucker GPS, which costs like $400 or $500 or more, which I didn't do. I spent maybe $195 on my GPS, and it does a great job, but you just got to get to know where all the truck routes are. The tight loading docks, those can be a little stressful, especially when you're going to a place that you're not familiar with. That can be a little stressful for you, because a lot of the time what I will do is I will get the address where I'm going if I've never been there before, and I will look on Google Map, and I will do a street view, and I will look around to see what the building looks like, what the loading dock looks like, find out which way I might have to go in. Sometimes you can see the building and the loading docks from the street view on Google Map, and that gives me an idea which way I have to get in there, how easy is it going to be to get in there, what I'm in for. Sometimes also I will call ahead of time. I will call the consignee, and I will say, I have an appointment to be here at this particular time. What am I in for? How easy is it to get in there? Do I have to come into the yard in a certain way? Is there a blind side? Am I going to be backing up blindsided, or am I going to be okay? I usually get the full scoop from the consignee, and a lot of the time they'll be nice and helpful, and they'll tell you. So, Trying to think of anything off the top of my head that might be a negative too. If you have a hard time sleeping at night with heavy noise, you may end up with a reefer on the back of your trailer, and those things are pretty loud sometimes at night. Or you may pull into a truck stop, and you may have reefers all around you. To me, I fall asleep. I don't care what kind of noise is out there. I pass out. Actually, they put me to sleep, those things. Another con I can think of is the ridiculous price gouging at truck stops. You see this everywhere. There's only a few truck stops that I know of that I can go to where you're not being gouged. But a lot of the time, the Road King, for example, in Calgary, is just ridiculous price gouging. $4 for a slice of greasy pizza. You see the price gouging everywhere. Unfortunately, it's not the way it used to be in the olden days, where a lot of these truck stops catered to the truckers. Now they try to suck every penny out of you, and unfortunately, you see that everywhere. So it's always a good thing. Stock up on food, stock up on goodies that you have, food and water, and necessities that you need. And if you want to treat yourself to a coffee or a hamburger somewhere, well, then you can do that. But don't depend on the truck stops for your daily food every day, because if you do, you're going to go broke in a hurry. All right, let's go into the pros. The pros are good. The pros are good, and hopefully I don't lose my lighting here, but if I do, I'll turn it back on for you. Okay, the pros. The pay is good. And then again, it depends. It depends on what company you're working for. If you just happen to get on with a company that doesn't have a whole lot of requirements, they don't get you to do drug tests or alcohol tests and all that stuff, and they just say, oh, okay, they don't really care what your abstract looks like, that's a red flag. It's always good to get on with a company that wants to check you out. They want to make sure you're a good driver, because that shows that the company they have dignity, they have respect, and they care about their drivers, and they care about their reputation. And if you can find a company like that, a lot of the time, some of those will pay really well. I've noticed that the big companies, the really bigger companies, I was with Challenger, they didn't pay very well. They paid okay, but they didn't, sorry, get that later. They didn't pay very well, but at least it was good because, the ability to prevent, when we broke down in that, there was always help there, which was good. The company I'm with now pays really well, and so I'm happy with that. Another pro, your office window is your windshield. I can't think of any other job that I would rather have right now than what I'm doing right now, because I get to look out my windshield and I see nature. I see wildlife. I see the beautiful mountains and the trees, and I roll my windows down and I smell the fresh air. There's nothing better than that. And if you have any kind of a job where you're stuck in the city, congestion, exhaust fumes and noise and horns and all that, whenever I get into the city and I have to drop off a load, I cannot wait to get back on the highway and get back out into the great wild, if you wouldn't know what I mean. So that's a huge pro. And again, you get to see beautiful terrain, countryside, you get to explore new places, you get to explore new people, and beautiful weather. And I love stopping in these little towns, especially the ones that you haven't been in before, and you get to mingle and interact with people. And usually if you're wearing a certain attire, they know you're a truck driver, and a lot of the time they treat you really well, especially the little diners in that. They treat you good, they really do. So that is a huge thing. And the wildlife, I love it, because you get to see wildlife everywhere. You get to see the mountains and the trees. This, of course, goes again with, the windshield being your office window. So it is, that's a huge plus. If you love wildlife, if you love the outdoors, this job is for you. It really is. Another pro is you are your own boss. In a way, you are, because you're given an assignment, you're given a load, and you're being told, take it there. Well, that's quite the long voicemail. You are given a job, an assignment, take this trailer here, and that's it. And with the job that I'm with right now, no one gets on your case. They know it's going to be there on time. And you get to work at your own pace, more or less. And with the job that I have right now, which is really nice, they don't ask you to drive overnight. So all my driving is during the day. This is a godsend. It really is. The Lord really knew that I did not like driving at night, especially with these newer vehicles, these Volvos. The headlights are terrible on them. So driving during the day is a huge blessing. What else can I say here? Another pro is you get to live a life of independence. You don't have to deal with a boss breathing over your neck. You don't have to deal with people breathing over your shoulder and people, you know, keeping an eye on you all the time. You get to work independently at your own pace. And that's a nice feeling. You get to learn and grow, or should I say, you get to gain that independence. And it's a nice feeling, not having to constantly answer to people. And I work a lot better under those conditions. I really do. I get my job done, and people are happy. And like I said, I don't have people bugging me. If you like camping, you get to camp out every single day. And some people, like for example in the cab, in the sleeper here, it has the bed and it converts itself into a table. And I've talked to a couple of the other drivers and I says, have you tried the table out? And they're like, no, I just leave the bed there. I've never tried it and I probably never will. And you know what? I think, gee, that's kind of sad, because while we're out here, we're truck drivers, we're driving these roads, we got to at least try to enjoy it. This is our second home. When you're in this industry, this truck is your second home. In some cases, it's most truckers' main home, and you got to make the best of it. So get the stuff, the comforts of home. I have a little TV in here. I don't use it very much. I have a microwave. I have a fridge in here that's built in. I have all my shaving gear, and I have lots of change of clothes, and I have my camera and my tripods, and I have everything that I would need to be comfortable. I have my laptop, and it's like you got to think of yourself as camping every single day. If you love camping, you're going to love this job. And I plan to get an hibachi in the summer and a lawn chair, and I plan to enjoy my life while I'm out here. And when I'm back home, if anybody happens to be involved in my life, then, you know, I'll enjoy that too. But while I'm out here doing my job, because this is a job, I'm going to enjoy it to the best I can. You get to save money if you budget properly. If you don't spend all your money at these truck stops and buy unnecessary things, you just budget how much money you're going to spend every week. I like to budget, believe it or not, to spend at least $50 a week. Just on coffee, maybe a treat, maybe a hamburger here and there, but I rely on the food that I have in my truck. So I budget about $100 a week on stuff that I want to spend. And in 2 weeks, that's $100. So the rest of your paycheck goes to bills, and then whatever's left over goes into savings. So you do save quite a bit of money if you budget properly. And the last pro, you do have an opportunity. This can be a con too if you're lazy. I like to exercise. I have a set of weights in here that every second day I will do my weights. When I lay down in the bunk, I do my crunches, is which you lay flat on your back and you lift your legs up like this. It works your abs. I want to get in excellent shape. By the summertime, I want to look really good. And I'm going to look really good by the summertime. You better believe it. And every second day, every opportunity I have, I like to take a lot of walks, get my back exercise, get my legs exercise, because I'm working on my upper body and that with my weights. But when I have an opportunity, I will go for long walks, especially when I'm on a reset like this. I will do a lot of walking, so I keep in good shape. And I guess you could say that's pretty well it. And for me, if you're not a Christian, this job can be lonely. It can be. And if you find yourself in this industry already and you find it very, very lonely, then maybe seek the Lord. And because He's an incredible comfort when you're out here, when I'm out here. This job would be totally different if I did not have Jesus in my life. It would be totally different if I did not have Him in my life. if I did not have the guidance of the Holy Spirit, if I did not have the guidance of my Father, and the comfort of my Father, and the comfort of the precious Word of God that I like to read every day. It's here somewhere. It's probably on the front seat. But it's been a good experience for me. It really has. And I wouldn't trade my life with the Lord for anything. I go through my trials and I go through my ups and my downs, but the bottom line is He tells us in His Word He will never give us anything we cannot handle. And He loves us. He hears our cry. He is a loving, caring Father. And I really believe He put me in this industry for a reason, so I could become a little closer to Him. And He knows I enjoy the independence. He knows I enjoy the wildlife. This job was meant for me. It really was. So I think I made the right choice. So I hope some of this helps you. And if any of you have any comments that you'd like to make, I am not going to have them automatically post, because a lot of people post negative things. And so if you leave a comment, it may take me a day or two to approve it, so don't worry. If you leave a comment and it's respectable, then I will add it and approve it when the time comes. So that's all I got for you right now. And if you want to add some things, if you're in this industry, or if you have a question that you would like to ask, I would like to do a question and an answer video for you guys soon. So if you have any questions regarding this industry, regarding what I do, or questions about anything regarding my relationship with the Lord, or just being in this industry, if there's anything you can think of, feel free to post those questions on this video, and then I will make a video in the future answering those questions for you to the best of my ability. So that's all I got for you for now. And we're just gonna hopefully be out of here. Hopefully we'll be out of here later today. And then I'll probably take a couple of days break from videotaping anything. I always have one cam taping I got one cam right now that tapes everything all the time, and then I have my other one that I do my videos with. So if anything special happens, anything major happens, I'll still be catching it, and I'll share it with you. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a couple of days break, and here we go again. A couple of days break, and I guess that's my cue to get out. A couple of days break, and I'll catch up with you guys soon. So, until we see each other again, I hope this video was very helpful for you. God bless all of you in the name of Yeshua. Please keep me in your prayers, and I'll be praying for you. Bye for now. Okay, Light, you can die now. I'm done.